All right. Welcome to the very first episode of the DeckBox. My name is Brandon.
And my name is Austin.
And welcome to a very different kind of video than we're both used to. We're going very podcast style with this one today. I've decided that Magic the Gathering is the wave, and we're gonna ride it. We're gonna ride its coattails all the way to the finish line, baby. That's what we're doing.
I'm gonna be like that penguin from Surf's Up. That really cool one with the
Hell yeah.
macaroni hair.
Hell yeah. All right. Today we're gonna do a little bit of like a weird game, I guess is the best way to put it. Just to like preface this so everybody at home understands what's going on. I'm relatively versed in Magic, I would say. I have a little bit more experience than Austin does. Just in general with the Commander format and just like how Magic plays. And I've compiled a list of around 15 cards or so. Some things will be surprises, some things will not be surprises. Some cards I'm sure he's probably maybe seen before, potentially. I don't know. Some will be brand new to him. Some will be ones that he has never heard of in his entire life and won't know what the fuck it does. That's kind of the appeal of it. But his goal is to determine whether or not I think these cards are worth putting inside of a commander deck.
Is this card gas or ass?
Very much, yes. Is this card gas or ass? Very much. But yeah, I will say this. There's going to be a few things that happen. At a certain point, there are going to be cards that aren't being played at all in this very moment because they are not out yet. Okay? I've included some Edge of Eternities cards in here because that I feel like that would be fun and we get to talk about new cards together and I feel like that would be interesting. And then also there's going to be a specific card where I am neither for nor against it. So it will be a completely it depends card. All right? And you'll definitely I feel like you'll get the vibe of it pretty quick. Austin, I'm going to send you an image of these and then you're going to decide whether or not you think I like it or dislike it, if I think it's gas or ass, if it's worth it or not worth it. All right? However you want to describe it. All right?
Crash or pass, gas or ass.
Very much, yes. Okay.
Gas or flash fire.
Flash fire. All right. I think. Do you have any questions for me before we start?
So in my contract, it does say that I'm not getting paid. So can we get that figured out?
Maybe episode 2. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. We got to see how episode 1 does. All right. In that case, I guess we'll go ahead and start. Like I said, if you have any questions before this, I preface to Austin. Oh, also, by the way, this is 100% my opinion. Don't roast Austin or anybody else for liking or disliking these cards. This is my opinion. If I think I would put this in a commander deck, I said worth it. That's literally the extent of it. If you read into it, I don't know. Have fun getting rage baited, I guess.
I've seen some of your commander decks. I'm expecting some pretty hot takes.
Thank you for the preface. Yes, I do like some weird cards, okay? I do like some weird combinations of cards, all right? That being said, though, this should be fun. It's a fun thought experiment, and I think it'll be interesting. Okay. That being said, are you ready?
I am indeed ready.
All right. This is Glaring Spotlight.
Okay. Glaring Spotlight, one colorless mana drop, artifact card. Creatures your opponents control with hexproof can be the targets of spells and abilities you control, as though they didn't have hexproof. And you can pay 3 mana of any color and sacrifice the Glaring Spotlight. Creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn and are unblockable this turn. I'm gonna say this is a good card.
Gut instinct tells you that this is pretty solid.
Gut instinct tells me this is a good card. For a card that you can drop turn 2, creatures you control, or creatures your opponents control with hexproof, they just become... You negate the ability of hexproof. And then, if you get into a bind, you can sack this card, and then you can gain hexproof, and they're unblockable. So if you just stack up like a giant mirror battle sphere or something like that, you just pay the 3, sack that, and then suddenly everything's unblockable. You can just win the game.
I love how you're using the cards I use as like examples to like put in like I love that you're thinking if like if this is Brandon's thought process. I think is like I do enjoy that.
That's the mode I'm in.
Yeah, totally. I definitely see like where you're coming from with it. So like give me like a scenario where you think like this card would be useful, or like can you see like an idea in your mind of like how this card could be played?
Oh, I see exactly what I could do.
All right, you want to run me through that?
So let's take my Final Fantasy Cloud deck.
Okay.
I believe Cloud is a 4/4, if I remember right.
I believe so. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll put a picture of Cloud, ex-soldier, on the screen.
I believe that he is indeed a 4/4, but I shall take a look. Yeah, he is a 4/4. And he's got haste. Whenever he enters the battle, you can attach your target equipment to him. There's another card in the deck. I don't remember what it is.
Is it an equipment card?
It's Colossus Hammer.
Mm,
Equipped
yeah.
creature gains 10/10. So you've got a 14/14 creature. If you equip that to Cloud, you pay the 3 to sacrifice this, and then you can just deal 14 commander damage in 1 turn. And it's hexproof, so it can't be targeted by any spells.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely I get the idea behind that. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Okay.
And if you were to stack that with another equipment card, such as like, let's just take like the Buster Sword card for example.
Yeah.
Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card, and whenever you cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, totally.
So if I do 14 damage to you, I can pretty much just drop whatever spell I want.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely get where you're coming from with this. Yeah. So I think the thing that I will say, I want to get like your final verdict. It seems like you're leaning one way. I guess we're going by gas or ass is the metric we've decided. So, do you think that this card is gas or do you think it's ass?
I believe this is that Preem 93 octane premium quality gas.
You think it's gas. Okay.
I think it is gas.
In my experience, I think that this card is also gas, but I think we have different ways of playing it. Is the thing. I fully agree with what you said, by the way, of like throwing it down, preventing the hexproof, and then all of a sudden cracking it to like give your creature unblockable and swing in for a crazy amount of commander damage. I think that's crazy, and I think that's great.
Now imagine if you had a card that allowed you to play artifacts from the graveyard.
Oh yeah, like you could recur it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that for a second. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another layer to it for sure. What I will say is, I'm not even necessarily like me as a player. I'm not necessarily like worried about the top text that creatures your opponents control with hexproof can't be targets or can be the targets of spells and abilities you control. I'm not even worried about that text. The one that I like is the bottom text. I like the ability for starters, right? You can throw this down turn 1. Keep in mind, you don't have to play this turn 1, and you can save it because you could play artifacts on your turn and crack that ability whenever you want. You don't have to tap this. It's pay 3 and sack it, right? You don't have to you don't have to wait. You don't have to set this up. It's pay 4 and you get creatures you control get hexproof and unblockable this turn. That's crazy to me. For 1 mana, that's crazy.
Imagine I guess 4 mana technically if you were to play that.
In 1 turn,
later.
If you were to play this in 1 go and tap 4 just to get this out so your creatures can swing this turn. And keep in mind, it's all of your creatures.
Yes, it is all of your creatures.
And they're all unblockable.
Now imagine like a token deck or something like that.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you can generate massive amounts of tokens.
That's what I'm saying. I think this
Then
would fit very well in this game. Yeah, 100%. I think this is a very I don't know. I have not seen this card personally be played, at least in the pods that we play. So I believe in the potential of this card, at least in like my eyes, like they see where this goes, and it's like it's very good. And I personally think that this would be great. And like he's gonna make fun of me. It'd be great in the Coda deck. All right, yeah. It'd be fantastic in that deck.
Brandon, put the Coda's shield, put the Coda's Pariah Shield
All right,
combo on the
my
screen.
bad. Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, we're gonna sweep that one away. But yeah, no, I just think it's a very very solid card for 1 mana, and you have to pay 3 for it. I think it's a fairly priced ability. There's a land in this game called Rogue's Passage. It's a land that you can play, and then you pay 4 to tap it. To give target creature unblockable this turn, which is very similar to this, but it has the kind of like
This is everything. This is all your creatures, not just one. Not just one.
Exactly, yeah. So for the extra ability of like having to tap your mana for this instead, you get
It's
a
100%
huge 100%. You get like a huge boon. To me, this feels like impossibly worth it.
You could let alone use this as like a turn 9 or turn 10 just game.
Yeah, true. That's what I'm saying. You just like you build up a board. Play this in green. By the way, this can be played in any deck because
Yes,
it's an artifact. It's colorless, right? So you can play this in whatever the hell you want. If you have huge stompy creatures with like trample or anything, it doesn't even matter if they have trample, right?
Not me Googling 25 copies of Glaring Spotlight right now.
Very true. It's a very strong card, and I think it's a good kind of like win condition card that not a lot of people will see coming if they don't have a lot of artifact hate or if they don't have a counterspell for like artifacts in particular. It's kind of confusing. Like for people to be like, okay, I can pay 4 mana and win right now. It feels like I'm gonna flash a card on the screen. It feels like an Achrome as well, almost with a little bit less in addition to it, but it feels very similar, and it's very very strong. I'll send you a picture of a Chrome as well after this. It's a very broken card, but yeah, thankfully not in our list today. But yeah, all right. Congratulations, you are 1 for 15 at the moment, Austin. Good job. All right.
My name on the test.
He's got points on the board. All right. In that case, I am going to go ahead and send you your next card. And here we go. Here's your card. It is Witch's Mist.
Witch's Mist. This is a 1 black, 2 colorless cost enchantment. You can pay 2 colorless and a black and tap this to destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn.
First impressions, feel any certain way about this card?
First impressions, I feel as though in the right deck, this card can work quite well. Particularly, I don't recall what the name of the card is, but I believe there is a card in my blue-black zombie graveyard mill that if a creature is dealt damage, then it triggers an ability. You can send it to the graveyard with this, and then you can use your commander to recast it.
So you could kind of get the ETBs multiple times, is what you're thinking.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
That's what I'm seeing, at least in like a red-black or a blue-black, like.
Yeah, kind of more like splashy kind of damage-wise. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This could also be very good for using something that has is the ability Flash. It comes in with a -1/-1 counter after destroyed. You could bring something back. You bring back some sort of beefy creature and trigger an ETB again.
Yeah,
or an EBT.
I can see it. Yeah, totally. By the way, if you have any questions about this card or like anything like that you just want to ask, I'll answer anything you want. Besides like whether or not like my immediate opinions on it, I guess.
I think in the right deck, this card is strong. I think it could be good in the right deck, but I think it's very situational at best. I don't think this is a card you can comfortably rely on.
Is there a particular reason why you think that you wouldn't be able to rely on this super often?
I feel as though there's only 2 or 3 scenarios where this enchantment plays to a benefit of a deck.
Okay.
The only other way I can see this being useful would be if you can deal out some chip damage to some sort of big creature that an opponent controls, and then pay the 3 to sack it or destroy it.
Right, so you like ping it for 1 damage with like a red spell or like a black spell. And
Correct.
then you pay the 3 here, assuming that Witch's Miss is on the battlefield, right? You pay the 3, tap it, and then you sack it. Okay, cool. I could,
And that's what makes it more situational, is you have to get it down. And you have to be able to play this enchantment without somebody either destroying it or just outright taking the damage to avoid the trigger.
Right. I see where your head's at for sure. Okay. Do you feel as if you're ready to make a decision about like whether or not you like this card or not? It feels very one-sided at the moment, I feel.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the card. I think it is good in certain situations. However, I believe for the most part it's not going to be as useful as it leads on to be.
Okay, so you're thinking more ass than gas.
I'm thinking more where we're not quite like this is like a light number 1. I wouldn't say we're at number 2 like full on like steamer yet.
Right, okay, got you. Yeah, we're kind of like at like dull fart level right now is what you're saying.
No, I'd say we're at a good like 4 out of 10 midnight tinkle session right now.
Okay.
Not quite.
Totally.
We haven't had to make landing yet. The eagle has not landed.
Okay. Solid. Okay. So you think overall, based on what we're saying, is that you think that this card is ass. And don't forget, I have an It's Depends card. That's somewhere in here. One of the 15 will be neither or.
This might be your It Depends card. This may be it.
Are you going to lock that in so early? You think I'd put it in so early?
Yeah, I think you would.
You think you would? Okay, so you want to lock in It Depends then?
I would like to lock in It Depends.
Okay. If that's the case, I will say this. Austin, I'm sorry, there's no point for this one. I think that this card is not great.
I got read like a book.
Yeah.
I got bamboozled.
Yeah, Witch's Mist is not that good, at least to me. You have to keep in mind, you were saying it a lot, by the way. How many hoops do you have to jump through in order to destroy one creature?
Or than
you know
Jack
what I
Russell's
mean?
Harrier Dog Show.
Well, yeah, like exactly. You have to pay 3 mana to get it down. Then you have to pay 3 mana to like actively use the ability of the card. Then you have to tap the card. Then you have to figure out a way to deal the damage to the creature.
And you have to make sure your opponent is enough of a buffoon to take the damage on a creature that it isn't worth just not tapping this.
Exactly.
If it's a 2/2 creature and you can deal a damage to it, there's no point in paying the 3 mana to destroy that creature.
Exactly.
It's only worth it if it's on something bulky.
Truthfully, yeah. Or if somehow you got damage onto a creature that has like crazy hard removal, or like somehow it's like very hard to get this off the board for some reason, or like maybe it's like some kind of like win condition card that you need this on, but it's so many hoops to jump through in order for Witch's Mist to even be remotely considered for me. You have to keep in mind, in a situation where this would be played, right? You have to pay 7 mana at the minimum in order to get this to work. And for the effect of 7 mana, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn is not a good ability for a 7 mana card. It's not. So at that point, like you have a 1-cost card in Swords to Plowshares or like a Path to Exile in white that lets you exile target creature. Right? You could pay 1 mana to exile it, the better removal. When you have to pay 7, all of these hoops just make this card really, really bad.
I mean, at that point, I would almost rather pay. Let's just take the zombies graveyard mill I use, Jisa and Geralf, the deck I use. The options I would see you can use to get more value than something like a Witch's Mist would be Zombie Apocalypse, where it returns all zombie creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and destroy all human cards.
Yeah, totally.
That would be better to play. You'd be better off playing Army of the Damned, an 8-cost card where you create 13 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens.
Yeah,
And it's got a
you're
flash.
thinking
And
you're
it's got,
thinking for the like the overall cost of the card. You're thinking like,
yes, in
oh,
that.
the overall value. You would completely remove this 3-cost card and just say I'm gonna put it in a bigger card because it does the same thing for me, and it's
Yes,
more transparent about like what its ability does, and it's a better ability.
that
I
I
totally
would
get it.
do.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, that logic tracks for me
There's,
as well.
or I mean, at that point, you could also play the instant card Go for the Throat, a 2-cost, where it destroys a target non-artifact creature.
Exactly.
It does. You skip the caveat where you have to deal damage to it.
Exactly. Like it's a targeted removal card. Yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Austin, you are. I suppose you are well, you're still 1-15. Still 1-15.
I think
So
1.25 and 15.
no, I think
I
one
think
in
one.
15.
No,
For the
I think
purposes of me editing this and putting text on the screen, I think 1-15 is fair.
you can put 2.5 at the end. Or 0.25. It's not that much more work.
All right, we'll see how Brandon feels in the edit. We'll see how he feels. All right, you ready for your next card?
I am ready.
Alrighty, Molten Echoes.
Molten Echo is a 4-cost enchantment that takes 2 red and 2 colorless. As Molten Echoes enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a non-token creature of that chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. That token gains haste, exiled at the beginning of next step. Next end step, I should say. I think just my gut instinct tells me this is a good card. Let's just say I'm playing a blue-green dragon deck. I could bring in a 7/7 dragon, and I choose dragon whenever I bring this in. I can create a copy of that dragon with haste, and then I can just swing that out at you for 4 cost.
Yeah, and the enchantment stays on the battlefield as well, so it applies to every
Exactly.
dragon you would
It's
ever cast from your hand if you chose dragon.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I would say this card I would put this one another 93 premium octane gas card.
You think it's gas? You're
gas.
already on it. You think it's gas? You're locking it in.
I'm locking it. I think this card is pretty gas.
All right. I tend to agree. I do think Molten Echoes is pretty good. Yeah, I think a lot of the time when you're playing a card like this, you're playing it in like a red-white or like a red-black for like tokens and things of that nature. The ability to be able to like sacrifice the token at the end will also trigger like leaving the battlefield effects and things of that nature. So imagine like I'll put a card on the screen. It's called Blood Artist, right? Let's say you pick vampires for some reason, right? You play a card, it gets haste, you swing out. A lot of vampires will have like lifelink, death touch, right? I see this being really good with a lot of like cards that have good keywords or like that want to get the damage out quickly. Good like creature cards that have not like non-legendary creature cards, of course. Or just honestly, you could even run. There's another one, I believe it's a red dragon or like a spirit dragon at Sushi, I think is what it's called. When it dies, it creates 3 treasures. So you could copy that and gain 3 treasures. I think overall, there's just a lot of like versatility in this card. And the only downside that I see is that you have to choose a creature type. But for 4 mana, that makes sense.
What I see being useful too is my Atakra deck. Whenever a dragon I control attacks, it gains double strike. So if I choose if I choose dragons and I create a token copy of like a 7/7 dragon, it's getting double strike and it's getting the haste.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and especially there's a card in there that I know that you really like. It's when you attack, you get 6 mana of red and green. Storm Ventmaw, is that what it's called? Or something like that?
Savage Ventmaw.
Savage Ventmaw, yeah. That card would be great with this because you get the immediate trigger, you can cast it, right? And then you get 6 mana to your mana pool that doesn't go away. right? And then your other dragon is ready for you. Like on your main phase 2, you could cast a bigger dragon, create another token copy, right? So you could keep like looping some really, really effective cards, yeah. And red does like to get aggressive. I do like the added like ability that it gains haste, and that it dies at the end of, or it actually doesn't die. It actually exiles at the beginning of your next end step. But I actually don't think that's a problem. Yeah, I think overall Molten Echoes is a great card. And you got a point for it. Congratulations, nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job, nice job.
2.25.
Alrighty. 2.25. All right, yeah. Sure, buddy, sure. All right. Are you ready for your next card?
So ready.
Alrighty. Here's your next card. Spare from Evil.
Spare from Evil. A 2-cost instant. Creatures you control gain protection from non-human creatures until end of turn. Just right off the rip. Situational, but in the right situation, gas.
Okay. Are you leaning more one way than the other? I understand you just said gas. Are you committing to gas? Or are you committing to more like this feels solid, this feels not solid?
I'm leaning more towards it feels solid. Because with all the different creature types in Magic, gaining protection from all non-human creatures until end of turn is incredibly strong.
Okay. If that's your first-hand analysis, yeah, this one was meant to be a quick one as well. If that's your first-hand analysis, are you thinking of like situations where this would be like super valuable to like use?
Once again, I'll go back to the Mirror Battlesphere example.
Mm-hmm.
If you create 4 token copies of Mirror Battlesphere and you've got all these Mirror on the field, for 2 cost, I can play a card that gains protection from all non-human creatures. And since Mirror are not human, they can't do anything to me until end of next turn. I buy myself at least one more turn.
Okay, keep in mind, it's creatures you control gain protection from non-human creatures. So it's not you. It is the creatures that you own gain protection. If that changes your gas reading or ass reading in any way.
This is still true. I still think it's good, though. I do.
Yeah? Okay. All right. In that case, do you want to lock in anything in particular? I'm not going to force you to lock it in, like if you're not ready, but what do you feel?
I'm gonna lock in like a mid-grade 89 gas.
89% gas. Okay.
89 octane.
89 octane. All right. In that case, Austin, I'm happy to give you another point. Yeah, I do think this card's pretty solid. I don't mind this card at all. Creatures you control gain protection from non-human creatures. I think the big thing that I am like trying to get you to see here when I'm like giving you these cards as well, I'll give you this one for free, is like some of these like card types play off of their colors really well, if that makes sense. So white is very, very known for its human creatures and its like ability to spam out tokens. Right? White is a very normal kind of like kind of like an all-rounder kind of color, if that makes sense. It kind of does everything you want it to do. In terms of like finding your lands, in terms of removal, in terms of what the creatures are in that realm. You know what I mean? So, and the ability to spam out tokens, white does super, super well. It's not hard. In a deck where you go super wide with tokens, this card is going to be really, really good because no matter how many creatures your opponents have, you're going to have more. And you get to pick and choose when you play this, right? So let's say you don't have enough blockers, right? In order to, let's say you don't have enough to deal with this like big creature on your opponent's board, right? That benefits off of being blocked in some way, right? Playing this card and blocking it with a token, right? Because it has protection, they don't get that blocking benefit anymore, right? So you've saved yourself a turn, and then you can use another white spell to exile that creature, that next turn. I feel like this is very, very solid for me personally. I feel like there's a lot of room in a lot of white decks for a spell like this. Doesn't necessarily have to be this one, but I think this kind of effect is very, very, very good, just in general. Good job on that one. I'm keeping the score on the screen. I forgot where we're at right now. I believe you're at 3 points, I think. 3 points sounds right to me.
3 points.
In this moment?
3.25.
3. Ha ha ha. All right. All right. Are you ready for your next card?
I am ready.
Alrighty. Card number 4, Wind Rider Wizard.
The Wind Rider Wizard.
Oh, sorry. Card number 5. I apologize.
Card numero 5. Learning new words today with me.
Hola, como
3
estas?
cost.
Guantes.
It's a Donde es la biblioteca? I just asked you, do you know how to play Magic in Spanish?
Oh, hablo no inglés. That means yes.
Yeah, sounds about right. So a 3-cost creature, human wizard, flying. When you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, you may draw a card. If you do so, discard a card.
What are your
2/2.
immediate thoughts about this card?
I think this card looks solid on paper. I'm not overly... I don't play a whole lot of blue, so I don't know if blue... Yeah, blue does do some cycling. I was gonna say, if you cycle some, and you have particular cards you're looking for, it may be good to just be able to mill stuff out for free by casting either instant sorceries or wizards. So being able to draw a card, and then discard a card.
Yeah. I see the thought process. I do. What do you think? Do you think I think this card is worth it though? That's the key here.
I think for a 3-drop card, I think you probably think it's worth it.
Okay. Are you gonna lock that in? Is that where your head's at right now?
I think I'm going to lock that in. I think you think that card is a solid 89 again. Solid 89.
A solid 89? Okay.
Solid 89.
All right. Austin. That is correct. Yeah, I do think this card is pretty solid. For a 3-cost flyer, 2/2 with a good like kind of ability that lets you draw a card, I feel like this card is kind of... I don't know if it's played anywhere other than kind of like Commander, or if it's played anywhere in like just, I don't know, like blue decks. But I see this being played in a red-blue Spellslinger deck where you're casting a shit ton of instants and sorceries, not even the wizard part, where you're like drawing, or where you're playing like low-cost blue, where you play an instant, you draw a card, discard a card, and then you throw like recursion in the blue in there to like cast like instants and sorceries from your grave. You know what I mean? This card feels very, very, very strong. The fact that it has flying, it's a little bit annoying, it's a little bit pesky, all for the price of 3 mana. It feels pretty good to me. I feel like situationally as well, this card fits into a lot of like weird niches where you could be playing it in Wizards. You could be playing it in Spellslinger. You could be playing it in draw power cards, or draw power decks, right? In mono blue, right? There's a lot of like weird niches that this card kind of like fits in, right? And I think it should be more popular than it is. I don't see it super often, to be fair. I don't think I've ever seen it. But when I saw this card, I was like, wow, this card's pretty solid. I actually like it. And for a common, it's like weirdly powerful. So yeah, overall I think it's pretty good. All right. Are you ready for your next card?
I am ready.
All righty. Here we go. I'm excited for this one.
Card number 6.
Card number 6. Null Profusion.
Null Profusion. Skip your draw step. Whenever you play a card, draw a card. Your maximum hand size is 2.
Do you think that I think this card is worth it?
I can see 1. Count them with me on your digits. A singular instance.
Okay.
Where this card is useful. This is some Doctor Strange looked into the multiverse and saw 14,706,000 possibilities, and you guys win in 1 situation with this card.
Okay.
The only thing I can see this useful in would be like a group hug deck or something. This is a meme card to me.
A meme card. Okay, interesting.
This seems to be a meme card. I would say if you're trying to play this card with any semblance of attempting victory, I think you're going to say this card is some certified dookie. This card is lactose intolerant. You just ate 2 tubs of ice cream because you were sad, and now you are paying the Pied Piper.
Okay.
I think we're going to crack the porcelain with this one.
You think? Okay, so you're going like full on. This is a dog shit card.
Like I said, outside that one possibility of like a group hug deck, I think that this card is no bueno.
Can I ask why you think it would be good in a group hug?
In a group hug deck especially, if you're skipping your draw step and you want the person next to you to win, that might help you.
Okay, so I want to clarify what group hug is. Group hug is a way of playing Magic in a 4-pod, or even no matter how big the pod is. The objective is still to win in group hug. It's more that you are advancing the game forward faster in group hug. Does that make sense? So you're like helping people draw cards. You're helping people play lands faster. You're helping like let people play creatures faster, right? You're advancing the game state in group hug to the point where it's almost advantageous for you because they're ignoring you, because they have all the benefits, because they're giving you all of the good stuff. You ignore them. They're helping me, right? So then they sweep in and try and win the game from that perspective. Does that make sense? That's what group hug's real intention is. I do see what you're saying though, with like how you could kind of like see where like a group hug could kind of like come into this in a way where like maybe you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna slow down my own progress. We've recently played with a person at our local game store, LGS, who plays very like, he has a voting deck and a group hug style deck that he aims to only play or place second, and he immediately wants the person to his left to win because he gets all the benefits first, just in turn order. So I see where his head's at when it comes to this. Okay, so your immediate reaction is that you don't like this card.
Cracking the porcelain. The one thing I see that may be a saving grace on it is whenever you play a card, draw a card. However, the downside is it doesn't say you can play a card with no mana cost. So if you start just drawing heavy cards, you don't have a lot of lands, you can just get mana stuck.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
And
Okay.
then skipping your draw steps as well.
Right.
So your
right.
only reliable way to draw a card is to play a card.
Right.
And if
you fear the idea of like getting stuck in a situation where you don't have anything.
You can 100%, I think, get stalled out with this card. I think this card can just stall your game progress.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna have you lock in your answer here.
I'm gonna lock in certified dookie.
Certified dookie. All right. Austin. I might need to. Have you ever seen that TikTok trend with the cake and they put the faces on the cake? The hear me out thing or whatever. You know what that is?
The looks maxing ones.
Oh well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Is it the ones where they have like the Giga Chad Shrek and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, they have like here. It's like people will go in and they'll like put things on the cake and they'll like say like hear me out. I like this. This is cool to me. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever seen that trend.
Okay, I'll have to show you one later. A lot of them do it with like cartoon characters that they want to like that they think are like attractive. That's like a big one.
What? Who said
Carl
that?
Weezer. Honestly, yeah, for you, Carl Weezer. Yeah.
Who said that?
Who said that? Unfortunately for you, this card is a hear me out for me. I like this card.
I'm gonna crash out.
Okay, so the one thing I will say, skipping your draw step, yes, it's a major downside, right? However, think about it this way, Austin. It's whenever you play a card It's not when you cast a card. So hear me out. What do you do when you put a land on the table? You play a card.
I see your thought process here. But what do you do if you get stuck with like 3 or like 2 different like 8 costs in your hand?
Correct. However, think about it this way. In order to cast this, you need 6 lands on the battlefield in order to get it. Maybe you have a Soul Ring. Maybe you've got some mana ramp like Mana Rocks, right? And maybe you're playing, for example, the thought I had when I'm playing this card, right, is my ideal for the situation is mono black, right? Where you want to put stuff in your graveyard because you have to discard down to 2 cards in your hand, right? You want things there so you can bring them back from your graveyard, aka your second hand, onto the battlefield. You want to cheat stuff in for free, right? This card enables a lot of discard. It enables a lot of draw, right? When you play cards, right? It doesn't have to be casting cards. It can be small instants in black. It can be small sorceries in black. It can be creatures in black. It doesn't matter what it is. You're drawing a card off of every single time you put a card on the table.
I understand your thought process here. However, if you get Army of the Damned in your hand and you get something like Overseer of the Damned, then you're screwed because you're with 2 7-cost cards. If you've played this and you only had 6 mana on the field, you've just soft-locked yourself.
And that's fair. And I will say that, yeah, that's fair. My ideal for if you're running this card is that you're running a bunch of low cost stuff. You're playing a bunch of lands to be able to get this out easy. You're running like a low cost combo kind of thing. You're going to see higher level tables run this card because it enables so much draw power and they're able to draw through their deck really, really fast, right? And ideally, you have ways in the deck. So like, I'll flash up a card called Dark Ritual if you want to look it up. It's 1 mana, 1 black. You get 3 black to your mana pool, right? There are plenty of cards like that in black where they let you net mana like that and where you're enabling like discards so you don't have to get stuck, right? When you're playing these cards, right, you're getting value from the eventual like upsides of the cards on the battlefield as well. Does that make sense? So like the enchantments, like your artifacts, right, in black or something of that nature, you're eventually getting all these upsides. And you could even say, play another enchantment, right, that says like, hey, what if I don't play a spell this turn, I get this effect? I can't think of a card that does that, but there is a card most likely that does that, right? There are decks that want this card in it. And I tend to think that this card is pretty fun. I like it. I think it's fun.
I could make an incredibly funny paradox with this. It's called mixing my... Fuck, what's the card called? The one that gives you no maximum hand size?
Oh, yeah, you could... Yeah.
How do you rule that? How
do you resolve it?
If your maximum hand size is 2, but you also have no maximum hand size,
yes,
do you just default to 7 again?
No. So I do believe I'll have to check this after the video. I do believe whichever one came down last is the effect you have to keep. So if you play this, right, and you play a card that says, okay, I have no maximum hand size, right, I do think that you get to skip your draw, and whenever you play a card, you draw a card, but now you have no max hand size, I think.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That sounds right to me, and if that's the case, that's great. Whenever you play a card, I draw a card, and I have no max hand size. I love it.
That's what it was. Reliquary Tower.
The land, yeah, Reliquary Tower.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a weird interaction that I didn't really think about, and I'm gonna have to look that up. I actually don't know.
I think we're gonna have to make a judge call here. I'm gonna give myself a half point for this one because I can see my logic and I can see yours, and your way of playing stuff is weird. So
all right, you know what? I'm gonna have a Brandon's points given out. Like I'm gonna give you these points, and then I'm gonna have Austin's self-given points. I'm gonna give you your own category of given points.
Well, I'm on a hot streak. Then I'm on a perfect score.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to move on to the next card? Are we feeling ready?
We are indeed ready.
All righty. We got a few to go. Let's get this going. Alrighty. Enduring Ideal.
a 7-cost card, sorcery. Search your library for an enchantment card, then put it into play, shuffle your library, and it's an epic. For the rest of the game, you can't play spells.
Well, read it.
That For the rest of the game, you can't play spells. At the beginning of each of your upkeeps, copy this spell except for its epic ability.
So you'd get to search your library for an enchantment card and put it into the play, then shuffle your library.
I'm almost tempted to say that one, just looking at it first rip, looks good. Like, yeah, it sucks that you can't play spells anymore, but you keep triggering that effect over and over because you're making copies of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are technically making, like, you're copying the ability of the first part.
Yeah, you're copying everything except for the epic, it says. So,
yeah, so
you search your library for the enchantment, put it into play, and shuffle your library again.
Just to clarify how epic works.
For the rest of the game.
Yeah, just to clarify how epic works, it kind of works like a stamp that you, like, place on yourself for the rest of the game. You know what emblems are?
I do
in
know
Magic?
what emblems are.
Okay. They're kind of similar to emblems where you can't, like, interact with an epic. Once an epic ability is played and it's resolved, for the rest of the game, epic says you can't play spells. But you get to copy the ability on the top of the card for as long as, you know, the game progresses, right? So that's pretty much the ideal of the card. The ideal, enduring ideal, is to, like, you want to look for enchantment cards. That's the whole point of the card.
Yeah, and you can set up. There's plenty of enchantment cards that make it a lot more difficult. That make it to where you don't necessarily need the spells as much.
Right, but think about it this way as well: 1 card a turn for tutoring it, and you can't. I believe you can't play spells. You can play lands. Lands are not spells, so you can place lands down from your hand or when you draw them, things of that nature. You can do that.
And that spell, does that include creatures?
That
is a good question.
Yes, that includes creatures. So spells are anything other than lands for the most part. So it'll be like your artifacts, your enchantments, right? Your whatever.
Interesting. That kind of makes it a little bit harder, but
yeah. But the appeal of this, or, like, I guess the reason it's wanting you to do that, though, is because you're searching your library for an enchantment card, and then you put it immediately into play. Like, it's immediately on your battlefield, no cost to you. You don't even have to cast it.
I guess you could also do this, too. Let's just take this card, for example, Curse of Disturbance. It's an enchantment or a curse. Whenever the enchanted player is attacked, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature.
Yeah. True.
So you could throw that down, and then you have ways of generating token creatures outside of summoning them.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Or like you've got this one here, Curse of the Restless Dead. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under enchanted player's control, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature with Decayed.
Yeah,
so,
it's kind of yes, it's a little similar to those, I would say.
I mean, it doesn't work in this particular color, but there are enchantments, I assume, like that across the color spectrum.
For the sake of this, we'll say that this could be played in it would have to be played in a white commander deck, but it would be one where you'd want. I'm going to give it as much benefit as you want me to give it. It's in 5 color. It has access to crazy enchantments.
I guess if you were running a custom Eldrazi or something like that.
Eldrazi probably not, just because Eldrazi's don't normally work with enchantments too often. But
I don't think so.
No, not normally. But
yeah, I don't own an Eldrazi deck, and I've never played against one.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. But yeah, so Eldrazi's are more creature focused. They're like bigger creatures. That's like their whole spiel. They just like to be big, and they like to have like crazy abilities. But this is more looking for, like, I guess, like, enchantments to help you kind of like figure out like a win condition, I guess is the best way to put it. Epic kind of like locks you out of the ability to like actually control, like, you get to play what you want to play on your turn from your entire deck. You're at this point, once you play an epic card, your library is your hand in that way because you get to tutor through it. but you get to pick and choose what you play on your turn. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're fishing
Yeah.
for the win condition, and you have to pick and choose the right timings and stuff. So, is your immediate gut reaction, is this card good or is this card bad?
I don't know. Now that we've talked about it a little bit, I think it might not be bad.
You don't think it's necessarily bad?
I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's horrible. I put it like I mean, this is like some boof gas. Like, this stuff's been sitting for a few months. Like there's a good chance this car doesn't start with this level of gas that we have going on.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's good, but not like too good.
I think the way that you play, at least, since these are based on your opinions, I've seen the way you play white. I think this is good for you.
Okay, you're giving me benefit of the doubt. Knowing me, you think this would work for me, or that you
Yes.
think I would find a way for this to work.
Knowing your play style, because I believe
I do love me some enchantments. I do love me some enchantments.
I do know that you do like enchantments. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say you think this card's good.
Okay, you're gonna lock it in.
I'm gonna lock it in. I think you think this card's good.
Okay, Austin, I want to say this right off the gate. I love you, buddy. I'm so sorry. I think Null Profusion really, like, it got in your head with this one. I think Enduring Ideal is so bad. I think it's awful. I genuinely don't like this card at all. Okay, the reason I don't like it, right? And feel free to react how you want to react. I know you're probably a little upset. But this card is genuinely, like, I hate Epic for the reason of, like, it takes away the feeling of playing Magic. You know what I mean? Like, turn-based, like, playing cards, like drawing cards, playing lands. It takes away that whole part of the game. You know what I mean? And, like, you're tutoring for things to just come onto the battlefield. Like, come on, how boring is that? You know what I mean? You only get one card. It's so lame. And, like, sure, you can look for a win condition, but how many cards, like, if you, it's really only good if you have like a 2-card win combination. You know what I mean? Because then you have 2 turns and then you win. But let's say you have like a 4-card combination. You're sitting there for 4 turn cycles, just waiting for your win condition, waiting for somebody to blow up your enchantments. And it doesn't say you could play it from your graveyard. You're fucked if it goes to grave. Like, you lose. You know what I mean? If it gets dealt with. I genuinely, I don't like this card. I think it's bad. I don't think it's a hot take. I think Epic is bad. You understand where I'm coming from with it?
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, I could tell by the silence you're kind of reeling with it a little bit. He left the call. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I could tell that you're kind of reeling with it for a little while. You're like, damn, yeah, I can see why this is bad now. Okay. Well, shit. I'm sorry, buddy. That's no point for you. But hey, you were really thinking about it though, and I really appreciate the thought put behind it. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the fact that you think I could make this card work, even though I think it's ass. I really appreciate that.
So this is the porcelain pirate we've all been told of.
Yeah, no, this card is absolute duty wonder. I think out of all the cards I've shown you, I think this card's actually worse than Witch's Mist. I think it's worse. I think Witch's Mist is pretty bad, and this card is like worse.
I have a 2-card combo I think is worse than this.
Oh yeah? What was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Never mind. I don't need to know. All right, are you ready for your next card?
We are ready.
Alrighty. Here it is. Spellweaver Volute.
A 5-cost enchantment aura. Enchant instant card in your graveyard, or in a graveyard.
That's
Whenever
correct.
you play a
Agri-
sorcery spell, copy this enchanted instant. You may play the copy without paying its mana cost. If you do, remove the enchanted card from the game and attach it to another instant card in a graveyard.
Got some graveyard shenanigans here, messing with some instants and some graveyards.
I could see that being really funny.
You think it's funny? Okay.
I can see some tomfoolery that can be pulled.
Okay, like what? What are you feeling? What are you theory crafting at the moment? As a new Magic player, what's this fresh mind thinking?
I can't think of the name of this one spell that I'm thinking about right now.
What color is it? And what does it do?
I think it might be.
Is it red?
No, it is not a red. I do not believe.
I'll ask this. Does one of our friends play it and is blue and red?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I keep wanting to say cleansing nova, but it's not because I know that's sorcery.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, give me while you're looking for this card, give me like your first impressions of the card. Do you think it's funny? But like, do you think it's good funny or do you think it's bad funny?
I think it could be good funny.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why you think it's good funny?
If somebody early in the game casts like a counter spell, you can just copy this counter spell, and then as soon as somebody goes to play a counter spell, you're gonna say no, counter spelled.
Interesting. Okay. Keep in mind, you have to cast a sorcery in order to get it to work.
Oh, this one too could also be really good. This card I think would work. I think this card would sync up very well with this. Desynchronization. Return each non-land permanent that's not historic to its owner's hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
And it fits the color identity, so you mix something like that with it, but then you put down some sort of enchantment that you can't send, or like your lands can't be sent back or something like that. I don't know if that's a card that exists or not.
I actually don't know either. That's a good question. I don't believe we have a way to prevent bouncing lands, but I also don't think there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but something like that could be good.
Could be interesting, yeah. All right, what are your immediate thoughts? What are you feeling in your heart of hearts? Do you think Spellweaver Volute is good?
My heart of hearts have been broken. You've ruined me.
I've ruined you. That's kind of the whole point of this. It's meant to be kind of like a fun thought experiment of like what a like thinking about it this way. A little bit more of an experienced player over a newer player, what they think is good and what they don't think is good. You know what I mean?
This isn't a thought experiment. This is psychological torture.
You say psychological torture. I say thought experiment. They're the same thing in essence.
You say funny is what you say.
All right. Quit lollygagging. What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
You're like that. You're like that one clip of Mr. Krabs. Look at him choke as the health inspector's dying outside.
All right. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But what do you think? What do you think? What are you feeling? I'm waiting for the turning point for you to be like, I think this card's good, but I think you think it's bad, so I'm going to say it's bad. I'm waiting for that point.
I think it's good, and I think you probably think it's good because if you copy an instant that you don't like that somebody's already played, after that you remove that enchanted card from the game, so there's no ability to bring it back. So just based on that little nugget of information, I'm gonna say that you are an enjoyer of this card.
So you think I like this card, and you're locking that in?
I'm going to say, yeah, I'm gonna lock it in. I think you like this card. Plus, it's got a Giga Chad snake on it or something.
I believe
snake or dragon.
I believe it is like a weird Sonic Boom owl looking thing at the front.
That does
Very
not look
strange.
like an owl to me.
I think the front part in the face, or like the smaller portion, there's like a beak and an eye. I think that's a bird.
What happened to my boy Duolingo?
I'm not sure, honestly. Okay, but you think this card is good?
I would believe so. All
right, Austin. I regret to inform you, I do not think this card is that good. I don't think it's that good. There's a caveat here for me. It's whenever you play a sorcery spell, copy enchanted instant card, unless you have a way for flash, right, for your sorceries, right? And there are tons of ways to do that in blue. Casting this at 5 mana to enchant an instant in a graveyard, for one, it relies on an opponent to cast an instant. Not unlikely, but limited. People are going to stop casting instants at some point, and then this card's going to have no targets. and then it'll die.
It does say in a graveyard, which means you could also target your own graveyard.
That is true, right? I guess
Just
you could be
dump a bunch of
casting also instants as well. I guess that's fair. But I also don't think you're going to have a really good mix of instant and sorcery cards. And I think a lot of the time, you're just going to want to play instants instead. Just instants are normally better in this game, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of sorcery-based like shenanigans unless it's like a really huge win condition kind of sorcery. You know what I mean? Kind of like your zombie apocalypse. I believe that's a sorcery. If I'm
Or Wake
remembering
the Past,
correctly.
or all
Wake the
artifact
Past.
cards.
Yep, exactly. Similar to that, or like more of like a win condition kind of sorcery card. This to me feels slow. It relies on me having to cast another sorcery spell, having an instant in either my graveyard and opponent's graveyard. Not unlikely, but another hoop to jump through. There's a lot of hoops. I don't like hoops. If there's anything you can guess about me, is that if there's hurdles that get in the way of me playing a fun game of Magic, I don't like it. Maybe that's a lesson for future Austin. But unfortunately, no point this time. I'm so sorry, buddy.
Another
Alright.
legend from future Austin in here. Anytime you pull out the purple deck box, just put away your cards.
Oh gosh. All right. Are you ready for your next card?
I guess. Can we review my contract?
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a really firm talking to after this video. Okay.
You signed me
About your
on for.
contract.
You signed me on for 5, right?
I believe so. Yeah, we can renegotiate if need be. All right, but here's that next card before we renegotiate everything. All right. Here is your next card. Dark Depths.
The legendary Snowland with no cost since the land. It enters the battlefield with 10 ice counters on it. If you pay 3, you can remove an ice counter from it. When it has no ice counter, sack it when you do create a Merit Lodge. A legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible.
What are your initial thoughts?
I think unless you're playing a deck that has a lot of mana on it, or you can like untap and retap multiple times per turn. I just don't know if this. I guess if you can get down 4 mana, get this down turn 4, I guess, and then just start tapping it. It's just such a caveat having to do it 10 times.
You have to do it a total of
10 times.
for 3 mana. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, technically speaking, it would be 30 mana to try and get this onto the battlefield.
Yeah, 30 mana to get a 2020 avatar
Mhm.
with flying and indestructible.
Yep. So your immediate thought is not that good. Would you like to give would you like me to give you a little bit of like a maybe not necessarily a nudge, but just like something that's able to happen in Magic? Just like a heads up, like, hey, this is a ruling that exists.
What's that?
Okay. So, I'll say this. There are cards in this game that let you copy permanents, right? And some of them are non-land, but some of them don't specify, right? It's permanents you control. Lands are considered permanents. When that happens, right? When the copy enters, it doesn't see itself as the card itself. Does that make sense?
It's like the 2 clones. From
Imagine
Invincible.
if this card was naked.
Whoa,
All right?
kinky.
So think about what naked implies. Read over this card again and think about what naked implies.
I would imagine that probably means that it doesn't have the ice counters. But probably also doesn't have the effects.
If something were to copy it, it would have the effects.
So I guess you could create a bunch of copies of it that don't have to get sacked at the beginning of your next end step. You could just get a bunch of these on the field.
So the way that copies work, right? And especially because this is a legendary card. There's a thing in Commander called the Legend rule, and in Magic in general, I believe. You can't have two of the same legendary permanent on the battlefield at the same time. So I will let you work out what that means to yourself. I gave you a very sizable hint here. I'm being very nice with this card. Immediate reaction. What are you feeling right now? Do you think this card's good or bad?
I think you probably think it's good.
Interesting. Okay.
Because you also do tend to play a little bit slower sometimes. Depending on what deck you're playing, you might not ramp up as quickly. You may just, especially take like a 4 or 5 pod, you might be willing to take that time. Just be able to get down a couple enchantments that allow you to extra land drop, and then just start dedicating yourself towards getting a 20/20.
Oh yeah, I do kind of, yeah, I build big. I do tend to slow play sometimes if I feel it's necessary or if I find an opening for it. Yeah, I don't disagree. Tempo management I'm relatively good at. I don't disagree with you. So you think this fits the ideal of like if I want to play slow and if I want to dedicate to something like this, I have the resources to be able to do that. You think I'd be able to commit to an idea like this? Is what you're saying?
I think you would.
Which is why you think I think it's worth it. Okay. I could see that. That's totally, I mean, that's as good as a reason as any, honestly. However, Austin, what I want you to exercise in this is, do you feel like this card is worth it?
For my play style, at least, I don't believe so. The way I play, I don't think this would work for me.
Interesting. Okay. In that case, what would you like to lock in?
Well, once again, this is basing it on how you feel.
That's true. That's very true.
My own thoughts have no matter here.
This is my nowhere near expert opinion on a card like this.
Maybe I'll. You know what? Maybe if we renew my contract, maybe we'll flip the script here.
What are you feeling? What are you locking in, buddy?
I think you think this card is good. I'm gonna lock it in as gas. I think this card is gas to you.
I think that this card is gas.
I think that you think that I think that you think that I know that this card is gas to you.
That train of logic works in my brain, and that train of logic is correct in this instance. This card is not. Okay. The one thing I will say is that you don't get to think that this card is bad because this card is great. Okay.
I don't think it's a bad card. I'm just saying I don't believe it works for my personal playstyle.
And that's totally fair. Okay.
Because it's the same as like the Kraken or the Kraken card.
Oh, Kraken card. Which one?
It's like the commander that starts with like 7 sleep counters or something like that.
Oh,
and then it just gets
the
really
island
big,
guy.
Really fast.
The island guy.
Yeah.
He's literally
really
the
big,
land.
really
Yeah, I'll find an image of it and maybe put it on the screen if I didn't. I don't know. Who cares? No, I get what you're saying there. Yeah. The one thing I will say is that this card is very, very abusable. So if you read this right, when Dark Depths has no ice counters on it, sacrifice it. That's a very loose restriction. Removing counters off things is something you can do in Magic pretty often, right? You don't necessarily need to pay 3 mana on it if you can find a way to remove the ice counters. Also, there is a card that lets you copy target land, and because the land has already entered the battlefield, it does not enter with the ice counters on it. So now it is just a copy of Dark Depths, and when it has no ice counters on it, the copy, it creates the 20/20 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. For free, for playing the land and targeting Dark Depths. So just having this on the battlefield enables a 2-card combo where you get a 20/20 with flying and indestructible. Isn't that crazy? I'll put it on the screen. It's called Thespian Stage. It copies a target land you control. It's very crazy, right? And there are also other cards that let you copy lands like this where they have already entered and they don't have the ice counters. They immediately sack themselves and they become 20/20 black avatar creature tokens. It's kind of crazy. It's very hard to remove. It's very hard to deal with. A 20/20 in the air with indestructible. Not a lot you can do about that on turn 3. You can get this out as early as turn 2. That's kind of crazy.
That can cause a lot of problems.
And it definitely can. Yeah. So that is why this card is unequivocally, non-negotiably gas. End of story. End of discussion. I hope you see my argument for this.
That is like premium quality race fuel with octane adders, straight up race car gas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
On some Talladega nights.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wolf.
Ricky Bobby.
I'm Ricky Bobby.
If you ain't first, you last.
If you ain't first, you last. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew looking ass. All right. Are we ready for our next card? I will say this.
We are.
This is our last card before the Edge of Eternity's cards. So get hyped. You ready?
Let's take a look.
Here he is. Hamza, Guardian of Arashan.
Oh, he's beautiful.
He is beautiful. He's a very beautiful boy.
It costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it.
Don't forget to read the card.
Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. That's just good. There's no getting around that. That's just good.
The immediate reaction is that you think this guy's good?
It is good. I mean, you just get down some sort of sorcery spell that gives every one of your creatures 1/1s.
Yeah.
And then you can play him for free. You can start playing other creatures for free, too.
That's true. Or near free. Yeah,
that-
discounted for sure.
You can just amass a giant-ass army.
You think this guy... So you think that this guy is good?
Yeah.
Your
Like, I mean, let's
immediate,
just
your
take this-
immediate reaction?
Yes. Let's take this card, for example. Unbreakable Formation. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. And it also has an addendum, is the additional effect. If you cast this spell during main phase, put 1/1 counters on each creature you control, and they gain vigilance until end of turn. And it's a 3-cost white.
Interesting.
So you can just do that and just start building. You can just build up a board state ridiculously fast.
That is true, yeah. All right. We're going to go a little bit faster on this one. I have a feeling you're leaning very one way on this. So
I
you
think we both know. And we both know this is like right up there with Dark Depths. Maybe not quite as strong, but right up there with it. In my opinion.
Whoa. Okay, I'm going to give you this for free. It's nowhere near Dark Depths, but Dark Depths is its own demon. I'm going to be honest. But okay, but you're saying that this guy you think that this guy is gas? Are you going to lock that in?
I do want to lock that in.
All right. We have locked in Hamza, Guardian of Russian, being gas. And I tend to fucking agree. I think Hamza is very good. You remember that commander deck I was talking to you about before?
I do.
The episode? This is the guy, this is my commander for that deck. I love him.
Figures.
I think he's fun. I think he's a lot of fun. The one thing I will say is that I played him, the reason I got him originally, for those of you that don't know, I played a huge, or like, not a huge, but like a good-sized mirror tribal deck with Urtet as my commander, and I had this guy in the deck as a cost reducer for when Urtet gave all of the +1/+1 counters. So I was just able to cast artifact cards and artifact creature cards for free whenever he was on the battlefield with my Urtet. I didn't get to do it a lot, but he is very good in that deck. It lets me play a lot of artifact cards and gets me a lot of good value. So I tend to really like this guy. Also, I'm currently playing him in a very like enchantment kind of heavy style of deck in green and white, and a lot of enchantments tend to give you a lot of good +1/+1 counters. You'll notice that this guy is in green and white, two of the best colors for giving +1/+1 counters on creatures, right? This guy, he has all the fuel, and I'm going to be honest with you, more often than not, you're casting him for 2 mana, even through commander attacks. It is very good. He's a 5/5, solid stat line all around. I feel very, very strongly that this card is very, very strong. And a lot of people tend to agree with me. I think he has a lot of deck spells around him, I'm pretty sure. So
I agree as well. He is very good.
Yeah, and for an uncommon, I mean, come on, this guy's crazy. I will be honest. Okay. Good job on getting a point there, Austin. Nice job. Nice job. All right. We are
Yay,
now.
perfect score.
Uh-huh. All right. We are now into new card territory. Okay. These are from the Edge of Eternity set coming out 3 days from now at the time of recording this. So get ready. All right. You ready for this? I don't know if you're ready.
Take a look. I don't
All
think
right.
I am.
All right. We'll see.
My contract says I need to be, though.
Anti-causal vestige.
It's an Eldrazi, 6 cost, any color. When this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because
You want to read that
by
bottom
having
part?
warp, 4 cost, you may cast this card from your hand for its warp cost. Exile the creature at the beginning of the next end step. Then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. Yeah, not even looking at the stat line, the 7/5 at the bottom, this is already good. It's a 6 cost to get it down to begin with. And whenever it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. Then you can put a permanent card with mana value less than 6, at minimum, onto the field tapped. From your hand, might I add.
Very
so, yeah,
true.
That's just a good. That's just a good card.
Also,
The
look at
gas
its
little
look at
heavy-
its color identity.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I think I said before that it was just completely colorless. So this can be played any deck.
Hmm?
You just throw this in wherever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that this is a good card. I'm going to give it a nice 93 gas.
Gas. You locking it in?
I'm locking in gas.
All right. I think the Magic community and myself tend to agree with you. I think this card's gonna be fucking insane.
I think that's going to open up some potential for sure.
Yeah, no, there's going to be some really, really early drops for this card. The reason I'm saying that is you didn't necessarily touch on it too hard. It didn't necessarily impress you. I think once you hear it again, it'll ring in your head like, oh, this is a lot stronger than I even thought it was.
Yeah, the warp cost where you can pay the 4.
The warp 4, you don't have to pay 6. You can play this as early as turn 4. All right. And then you can cast this card from your hand, right? When it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card, then you can put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control. That could be a land. That could be like a small creature. That could be, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be anything. It just needs to be a permanent, right? There are really good artifacts at 4 cost. There are really good creatures at 4 cost. There are really good enchantments at 4 cost. This card is going to give you a lot of value, right? And also, it incentivizes you to actually play a land the first time you use it, so you're actually you're able to cast a 7-drop when you play this card for 6.
Yeah.
It incentivizes you to ramp. And a lot of cards that tend to want you to ramp, right? They tend to be pretty good. So I'm leaning towards, if this is a deck or this is a card that's able to be played in any deck, I think we're going to see a lot of it. Like there's going to be a lot of people wanting to run this card just in general because it seems really strong.
I bet you that's going to be an expensive card too.
I think it's already fetching a pretty high price at the moment. So yeah. All right. Good job. Good point. First Edge of Eternity's card. A good impression for you, huh?
Yeah.
Feel good? All right. Zoo Effete Osteoharmonist.
Osteo what?
Osteoharmonist.
Osteoporosis.
Zoo Effete Osteoporosis.
3 costs, legendary creature, human wizard. You can tap him to return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton in addition to its other types and has no abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. For the way I play, I think that's actually pretty good, especially if I'm just bringing back, like, just a zombie, for example. Just some type of zombie.
Right, for sure. You think it's a good recursion piece, is what you're saying.
I think it is indeed a good recursion piece.
Okay.
My initial read on it is that it is good.
Okay.
However, I want to try to find an example card, like what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, for sure. How about just like a really big black creature? You have to target a creature, right? So the
Yeah, it's just
biggest
a
one
creature.
that I can think of that's black that I could see being really good with this would be like something that has like a big stat line, because it has no ability.
Yeah.
You need something that's big, right? Or you'd want something that's big.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I mean, you could play something like a. You could play something like this, even if you really wanted to. What's the name of the thing? It's Lotleth Giant. You could play that.
Okay.
That's a 7-cost 6/5 zombie giant.
Okay.
I mean, the ability is good, but if
Right,
you already
but
got it
playing
off, then it
you
doesn't really
you'd
matter at
rather
that
it for
point.
the stat line. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that card is good.
Okay. You're in the
I think
camp of you think that Zoo Ifit Osteohermanist is good.
osteoporosis. I think osteoporosis can be very good.
All right. Austin.
That's gonna get taken out of context.
Well, hey, at this point, we're over
Hashtag
before we started.
osteoporosis. Hashtag osteoporosis is cool on X the next day.
All right. Austin, I think
Yeah.
me personally, I am gonna say that this is my depends card. This is
your depends card?
this is the depends card for me. Yeah. Zoophyte is very interesting to me. I think it needs a lot of help. Is the problem that I see with it. I think it's good. There's a group of people saying online. I've seen multiple things about this card where they're wanting to bring back like 1-drop cards that have like huge stat lines natively, that have like massive downsides in the rules text where it just like completely negates it and they drop a 13/13 on the field or something like that. In that case, I could see it being super, super good. But I also want to see, I feel like this has such a good like opportunity to be such a good blink piece for like a black white kind of like blink focused archetype, when black and white doesn't really have that yet. I want to see it so bad. I think I would love it in that archetype. And what I mean by blink, for the people that maybe don't understand, for Austin if you don't understand as well, blink is when you play a card, you exile it or put it into the grave, and then it comes back immediately. I want to see this card, bring it back to the field, then I exile it with something, then it comes back with the massive effect. You know what I mean? I want to be able to cheat it into play for free. That's what I
Yeah.
want to see, right? So I want to be able to play those big creatures. Maybe not necessarily the biggest stat lines. Maybe something like kind of harmless at the start. Play it off like I'm playing it kind of in the way where I'm playing it like kind of like almost innocently, I guess, in the best way. And then just slam down something with a huge effect that's like, hey, you lose like half your life total rounded down. You know what I mean? Like that
Well,
would, to me, that's insane. To me, I want to see that. This card immediately, to me, it doesn't really want the same things that I'm looking for, but I do like it. I do think it's like, to me, it's like 50-50.
I will say I also forgot there was one card in here that you were on the middle on.
Oh, okay.
I honestly forgot about that.
Oh, you did? You forgot about the depends card?
Yeah, I
You
forgot that
guessed
was
it
a thing.
once and then you forgot about it. Yeah, sorry. I haven't been doing a great job about reminding you. Admittedly, that might be on me. That might be on me. But hey, it's all
Three-quarters of
good.
a point.
But hey, you know what? It's
We've
all
rounded
good.
up. We've rounded up a whole point now, based on my
Based on
percentages.
my rulings.
Based on my rulings, I'd say I'm at a perfect score right now.
All right, man. Are you ready for your next card?
I am ready.
All right. We only got a few left. Here we go. Pain for All.
Pain for All. A 3-cost card, Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, enchanted creature deals damage equal to its power to any other target. When enchanted creatures deal damage, it deals that much damage to each opponent. That just sounds good.
Like cut and dry. It just sounds really good.
It sounds really good because if it says you can deal damage to any other target. If you have a card that the ability triggers whenever it goes to the graveyard, you could deal out that damage to yourself and get that trigger if somebody's not wanting to trigger it.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
And then whenever enchanted creatures dealt damage, it deals that much damage to each opponent. It says opponent. It doesn't say creatures they control. It's just direct hit to them.
Right.
So it's gonna decentivize them to swing out at that creature.
Could you maybe see any downsides with this card? Maybe something you're overlooking potentially.
Hmm.
Maybe even some upsides that you're overlooking. To be fair, this card is very like cut and dry. Like this is the card reads what it reads, but
It doesn't say. It just says dealt damage. It doesn't say anything about you can't use your own like instant or something like that to damage it to be able to tap the opponents for damage.
that's true. Yeah, that is a feasible thing with this card that you can do.
Especially if it's something tankier.
Yeah,
Where it's maybe
totally.
like a 5/5 or a 6/6.
Totally. Definitely. All right,
And
Austin, do you feel as if you have a good read on this card yet?
it deals when it the enchanted creature deals damage equal to its power to any other target.
Correct. It
I
cannot
guess-
deal it to himself or itself.
Yeah.
That would aggravate some sort of infinite loop with Pain for All, like a one card combo.
I think that card is erring on the side of good, I think.
Okay. Do you think I think it's good?
I don't see you play red a whole lot.
I have been playing red a lot lately.
Hmm.
And I did build, if you remember, I have Arbaz Mirror.
This is true. I want to say my gut tells me that you say it's good, but I have a feeling that you're going to say there's some caveat I'm overlooking.
I'm gonna say that's totally up to you on whether or not you think I'm tricking you or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to go with my gut and just say that it's a good card.
You gonna lock it in?
I'm going to lock it in.
All right, Austin, you're 100% correct. I was not trying to trick you at all. This card is great. It's very, very good. I will say this: there is something you kind of overlooked, but it's not anything crazy. The fact that you're wanting to like ping it with an instant is wonderful, and that's great. But think about it this way: what if the enchanted creature, hear me out, had indestructible?
This is true.
It
They
wouldn't
use bounce
die
damage
when
off
it
the
takes
instant.
damage, right? It wouldn't take, or it would take the damage and it would deal it back out, right? So no matter how much, think about it this way: whatever the creature decided to attack with, if the opponent blocked with the creature, let's say we put it on a creature that's a 2/2. Pain for All is on a 2/2 creature, right? And an opponent blocked with a 3/3 creature. 3 damage has been dealt to our indestructible 2/2. Therefore, we can deal 3 damage to any other target. That could be the opponent directly. That could be the creature we just hit for 2 damage. We could do somebody else just randomly. This card enables a lot of options, and if you throw it on the right creature, it gives you a lot of versatility. So I think in red, for like a damage dealing kind of like effect, for a really aptly named card, Pain for All, it's a very strong card. I think it's very good. In red especially, this is like exactly what you want red to be. And especially for an enchantment, this is like perfect. In my opinion, I really like that card. All right. Good guess, my friend. Well done. There's another point on the board for you. All right. Are you ready for your next card?
I am ready. I believe we got, what, 2 more left?
We got 2 more cards left. All right. Bioengineered Future.
3 cost enchantment. When the enchantment enters, create a lander token. It's an artifact with a 2 cost sack. Whenever you sack, you can search your library for basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Each creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. doesn't it doesn't strike me as a horrible card, but the whole lander thing is kind of having to pay
Lander
two
is a
and
new token type.
Mhm.
The most similar token that we have in Magic to this currently, before the Lander token, I would say is a Clue token. That's where you pay 2 to sack it and you draw a card.
yeah, with this now you pay 2 to sack it, and then you put a basic land on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's ramp.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then you get an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn.
Yeah, but that's only each creature that enters. That's
For,
whenever
for each,
each creature you control enters.
Yep. Yep.
So anything that was on the field, I don't know if that gets it or not.
Each creature you control enters with an each creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. So it would be
So I think
once this
before-
card is down, everything creature-wise that you cast after will get the additional +1/+1, not the stuff currently out.
I don't think it's a bad card. I think though, you can only really get a +2/+2 in a turn unless you have some sort of card that allows you to play multiple lands.
So one of our friends plays a great mono green deck that lets him play a lot of lands
Per turn.
with effects that let you say, hey, you can play an additional land this turn.
With something like that, it could be good, but personally, my playstyle, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
But
Do
I
you
think
think that I think this is good?
I am not sure. I think you probably think that this one is like. I don't know. I kind of want to say that you think this card's bad. I don't know why.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna lock that in.
Okay, you're gonna say that I think this card's bad.
Yeah, I don't think you think it's as good of a card as it could be.
Okay. Austin, I'm so sorry, my friend. The simplicity, I think, of it got to you a little bit. I think this is a great card. I do think this is a beautiful, beautiful green card. It's everything green once. These new, I will say this. I think my favorite thing out of the Edge of Eternity's stuff lately, or at least the stuff I've seen, are these Lander tokens. I really like them. The one thing I will say is that Lander tokens, they give you a new way to ramp and to sack artifacts that I really, really like. It gives green kind of a weird artifact support that I really enjoy. Also, a great +1/+1 synergy for just playing your creatures is very strong. I really like it. You get a little bit of ramp when you cast this, so if you really think about it, you're paying 3 mana to ramp into another land later. So really, it's only a 2-cost card when you initially cast it, or it nets you -1, or it nets you -2. I apologize. And then you get additional bonuses when you play creatures out. I think it's good. It's a solid 3-cost card. Nothing too overcomplicated there. I just think it's good. Any comments on that? You're not super happy with me about that one?
I don't know. I'm not a big green player though. I don't play green a whole lot.
Yeah, and honestly, that's totally fair. The idea of it being kind of like out there for you makes sense. I don't disagree with you there. All right, I tried to get as many colors as I could within this. I tried to like scatter them out and make it kind of like strange, like the ordering a little bit. I tried to make it weird. A little bit on purpose, but yeah. All right. Are you ready for your next and final card?
Let's take a look.
Alrighty. Here he is. Ragast, Deft Gastronaut.
What a beautiful card. Let me just say, what a beautiful card.
What a beaut of a card.
He looks like
I say.
such a well-mannered gentleman.
He really is.
He looks so distinguished.
Those buttons down the front, that black chef's coat. How dapper. What a gentleman.
He looks like he came from Gordon Ramsay's kitchen. He looks like he was personally trained How to Make Lamb Sauce by
Exactly.
Mr. Chef Ramsay himself.
Makes a mean beef Wellington. You want to read that card for me?
Artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types and have the 2-cost tap, gain 3 life, and sack. Or you can, for 1 tap, sack a food, and he deals 3 damage to each opponent at the beginning of each end step. If you gained life this turn, untap him. That is all around a good card, especially for a 2-drop. I think that Distinguished Gentleman is a fine addition to any red and or white deck.
All right. Are you saying?
I'm saying that he's a very well-behaved and well-mannered gentleman who deserves to be in any deck, and I believe that you enjoy playing him, or you will enjoy playing him.
Oh, okay. You think that I'm gonna like build it?
I think you will.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Are you gonna lock it in? You think that I like it enough to play it?
Yeah, I'm locking it in. That's gonna be the card that you play.
Okay. Austin, you are 1,000,000% correct. I love
I knew it.
Regust. I love this little lobster freak. All right. The one thing I will say, once I saw this card and read the ability, the immediate thought I had was like okay, just picture this for me real quick. He's cooking all this amazing food, right? And think about it this. Artifacts are foods, right? What is he giving you really? He's giving you like scrap metal, right? And
He's giving you a soul ring.
if you don't eat it, he's gonna chuck it at you and hide. And then when he sees that he's in the clear, he's gonna untap and begin to cook again. That's my immediate thought. He's going like this. He's offering you metal. You don't like it. He chucks it at you, hides. He's starting mini food fights. I love the visual. I think for that purpose alone, I love it. I threw in a card here basically as like a freebie. I knew that we would both love this card, to be honest.
He's so distinguished.
Oh, dude, it's such a perfect card. Is the thing? It's just like
So good.
the humor of it. His name, Regust. It's beautiful. Gives me Ramsey vibes when you say it. Regust, Ramsey. It feels the same. Gastronaut fits the space theme. I love the fact that he's just so silly. He kind of like skitters around. I also think that I'm probably going to be changing my Arbaz Mir deck to have him as the helm of the deck because I play so many artifacts in there anyway.
Yeah, and then they all become foods, and you just chuck the food at people.
Yeah, I like why the fuck not, right?
All you have to do is chuck out 15 foods, and you can just kill everybody.
And then I just add more white cards that give me food. White is like the best color for food tokens other than green, right? So it's like it's like a match made in heaven for me. Like I already have a deck built for this guy. I'm just gonna slot him in, and then I'll be all good. So yes, this guy 100%. I'm building him. If I get my hands on him, when I get my hands on him, he will be made into a deck that I will play against you, and you will get artifact food thrown at you for damage, and you will cry yourself to sleep at night from how much food I will chuck.
And I have before we end this episode, I have a card that I'd like you to rate as gas or ass.
Oh my god! Yes, do it!
I'd like
I love it. I love it. Yes, do it. Ass. Okay, I will say this. Flash it on the screen. I don't even need people to see this. There's a reason I don't like it. And hear me out. All right? I love Patrick Star. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that this guy was the right fit for Patrick Star. Like the card says, I don't fucking get it. All right? I don't get it. Barktooth Warbeard, I get it. They wanted him to be vanilla. Give him, I get it. Make him red. I don't care. Give Patrick a fucking ability, man. I wanted to build a commander deck around this fucker, and now I can't, bro. Now I can't. I would have been okay with it if it was in red black. I would have been cool with it. That's fine. But what the fuck, bro?
For 7 costs too is crazy.
He's a 6'5". Like the stat line, great. That fits Patrick perfectly. He's more bulk than brain anyway. But like, fuck, man. Like you did my boy so dirty. So dirty. What's your opinion on the card, Austin? What do you think it is? Do you think it's ass or gas?
I think it is straight ass cheeks.
Yeah, I agree.
The porcelain is on the ground. We have a full scale like code. We have got like a Code Brown incident going on over here.
I agree. However, I will say this: I love the fact that Magic did decide to reprint something that wasn't necessarily, getting a shit ton of reprints that people were maybe looking for a collection. I can appreciate that. However, I think this was the wrong one. I think they missed it. I think they missed a target audience here that really could have wanted it. Points to himself.
I think the perfect ability for him would have been M for mini, W for Wumbo, to add 1/1s or have -1/-1s. I think that would have been the perfect ability.
Oh, that would have been sick.
That would have been the perfect ability.
We're gonna theory craft a custom Patrick Star card in the future. Mark our words.
All right. So that's all 15 Magic cards. I obviously scored a perfect 15 because I'm never wrong. I can't be wrong. Isn't that right? My contract says I can't be wrong.
Like you said, we need to review that contract.
Yeah, we need to figure this thing out. Yeah, but if you guys want to see more Magic content like this and more unreasonable crash outs over Patrick Star, go ahead and turn on your notification bell, hit that subscribe button, the like button, all that good happy stuff. Let us know you guys are enjoying this type of content from us, because if you guys interact with it, it actually helps us out. We can figure out what you guys like, what we can do better, all that kind of good happy stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of the DeckBox. We're gonna be trying to post on here quite a bit, right?
Like, yeah, I want to see if I can at least get a video out on this one every 2 weeks, maybe, give or take. Yeah, hopefully we post a good amount.
I was thinking 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks. I think that's a reasonable timeline.
For sure. Yeah, especially for a podcast kind of format like this. I feel this is pretty comfortable and pretty for the most part. It showcases us as people better, and it gets us more, in line with you guys. So I think it'll be more fun that way.
That maybe next episode, maybe we'll reverse the roles. Maybe I'll have old Brandon see if I think the cards are good or bad.
Ooh, I'd like that idea.
200 cards.
I like it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Maybe that's what we'll do for the next episode, or we can maybe even make this just an ongoing series where we just every few months or so we pick out a few cards and we rate if they are gas or ass.
Hell yeah, baby. Love it.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good one. Stay safe. Love ya.
Counterspell!
Counterspell! Counterspell!
Counterspell video ends now!